Good morning, good afternoon, and a very happy Wednesday, guys. It is hump day. We are halfway through the week already, on the way to the weekend, and we have got a very special guest joining us today. It is the hero that we need but do not deserve, the man himself, Papi, Mexican Ironman.
Arriba?
Woo!
Oh, I love it when you do that. Can I just like between seeing the thumbnail that says "Wake up in the morning with Purple Valkyrie" and seeing the cute little picture, then that sexy hot music, double, and then you telling me that, and then of course somehow one way or another we're showing up on the day of humping.
Yes.
Rare.
Stars aligned. What can I say?
That's my fang teeth. That's my tiger action.
There you go. Oh, it's been too long. I have missed getting to chat with you. Oh my gosh.
It has been far too long. Guess what series I just finished watching in pieces over tax season?
Ooh, what did you watch?
The Last Viking.
Nice. What did you think of it? Did you enjoy it?
It makes me want to fight for your honor.
See, now I've got visions of Mexican Ironman dressed up as a Viking berserker.
I'm Mexican Utrecht. I want to fight for your honor. You need to meet me in Bebenba. We can share a bale of hay on the bottom of the barn at Bebenba.
You've been getting accent advice from Andre, haven't you?
Yeah. Mexican Ironman has been diversifying his linguistic abilities. Todavía puedo hablar español, but I can also meet you in Bebenba.
What can I say? Mexican Ironman knows how to turn a lady's head.
Yep.
But before we get into the fun stuff that we've got planned for today, let me say a quick hello and warm welcome to our awesome chat. We have got Snorterpoopers Cuba. Hello. Great to see you. We've got Jim the Viking. Good afternoon, Jim. We've got Dave G Sound. Great to see you. Kendra L. Hello, sweetheart. We've got Brandon the Anime Guy. Great show that you just had. Really enjoyed that. We've got the author himself, Adega Outlaw. Hello, Adega. We've got Salty Texas C. Good morning. Great show again that we had last night. Really enjoyed it. We've got Psychodwarf 9 who says, hello, Mexican Ironman.
Ow.
We've got a Troubled Green. Hello, sweetheart. Great to see you. Good morning. Keely Chow. Roll Tide, Keely. And he is roasting Doomicorns and sending you a War Eagle. I think Mexican Ironman. Let's see. We've got Ren Zero. Great to see you. Hello there. Oh God, you guys have been busy today. Livespec Linux Laptop. Good morning. I know I saw Leia Rose. We've got the lovely Apollome's Minion. Hello, sweetheart. Good to see you as well. We've got Pacific 414. Good morning, guys. You guys have been busy. Great to see you. So we've got, say, a couple of stories that I think are worth covering today. And as I was going through them, I was thinking, what would be the best things to talk about while I've got Mexican Ironman in my clutches.
Would that be humping and thongs?
No. If you want to diverge into that, we can diverge into that as well.
I'm not ready. I'm not. There's too many people watching. I might get self-conscious.
For shame. Well,
you know how timid and shy I can be.
Exactly. Mexican Ironman is not one of those to kind of put himself out there. He's shy and retiring, really. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm not a kiss and tell or kiss and show kind of guy. Unless you subscribe to my new OnlyFans.
Do tell.
No, I'm kidding. There's no
okay.
way.
Oh, damn it. See, you got me all excited then.
Oh my God. Are you kidding? OnlyFans shit. I'd end up having to pay people just to look on the preview page. No. That is a money losing opportunity. Nope.
Speaking of a money losing opportunity, that is an amazing segue. So thank you for that. So we have got the news that over I guess over the past 24 hours or so, we have seen it that the stocks in Netflix have taken somewhat of a tumble. I think would be the best way to put it. Now, you are very well versed when it comes to stocks and um, this sort of thing. What is your take on this?
Well, this is actually something. This is a. You want to talk about Netflix first or Disney or who do you want? We'll go straight
Yeah,
to Netflix.
we'll do Netflix first.
Well, this is. I thought it might be interesting to take a look at these things with a little bit of historical perspective. And if we look at Netflix in terms of where they were back in 2016, uh, at the beginning of the year in January 2016, we're at $107 a share. All right,
Hmm.
$107 a share. And through over the about 5 years, we see some ups, we see some downs. But as recently as what we have here, November 17th, the week before Thanksgiving, almost at $700 a share, almost.
Hmm.
And since then, we've seen a gradual slide. At the beginning of December, we were dropped to 625. In early January, we're at 586. In February, we were at in the mid 400s. And in March, we had dropped below the 400 mark, and we're at 371. And right now this one says here March 14th, they were at 331. Well, fascinatingly enough,
Oh,
oh, that's
wow.
hold on, that's Disney. Hold on, that's Disney. Let me go back to where is it? Is it Netflix? There it is. Okay, yeah. So we're almost 40% down. We're hovering around 200s, and of course, let me just say right off the bat here that although we're discussing what's going on, this is not financial advice to anybody in any way,
Mm-mm.
shape, or form
Oh,
because all
no.
that's regulated.
Hmm.
But if we look at what's going on with Netflix, this is the slide I just showed here recently, right here. We're talking a company that's lost almost 40% of its value. Um, like this is just striking. This is just crazy. Now there was the press release that happened where they said that this is going to be the first quarter where they have negative growth. Negative growth means that more people have canceled Netflix than they were able to sign up. More people have
Hmm.
canceled Netflix than they're able to sign up. So if you do the math of this quarter, in that recent announcement where they're at minus 200,000, because that was the number, minus 200,000, and you multiply that 200 some odd thousand out for over a course of a year, you're talking about a company that's going to have a negative prorated or pro forma as we call it at about a million, negative a million subs. And
That's
what
incredible.
yeah, I mean, when you hear that as a consumer, what do you think? What's the first thing that pops to your head?
You immediately lose faith in them as a company, in that they can't sustain the model that they've got going. You know, once people start to bail at such a high rate as they are, it almost goes into free fall. And I would imagine it's very difficult to stop something once it started to snowball like this.
Yeah, I mean, it's stabilized in the last hour or two
Hmm.
a little bit. It seems to be stable, but you know, I I don't know. There was a press release that happened this morning. Let me see if I can find that here. I think I have it on one of these screens here. No, not that one. Not that. Oh, it's this one right here. Um, Shares of the streaming media giant plunged 26% in pre-market on Wednesday. So the 38% number I just showed you is just this morning. So it dropped another 10 points once the market opened. Um, Wall Street analysts marked down their estimates and price targets after the shocking quarterly miss on sales and net subscribers that reflect the challenges outlined by Hastings. Now, Hastings is the CEO, one of the CEOs of
Right.
Netflix, and he says that there's several issues that they need to correct. Here was his first reaction, which I think is what created the additional 10% drop. We are working on how to monetize sharing. We've been thinking about that for a couple years, but when we were growing fast, it wasn't the high priority to work on. And now we're working super hard on it. And remember, these are over 100 million households
Hmm.
that already are choosing to view Netflix. They love the service. We just got to get paid. Look at how he wrote that. Look at how he said that. I mean, what if you were CEO, Purple? If you were CEO, okay, so if you were CEO, say that with your British accent. They love the service. We just got to get paid. Say that.
They love the service. We just got to get paid.
Right. And from an East Oakland, I'm an Oakland A's baseball fan. They love the service. We got to get paid.
So,
I mean, we got over 100 million households that are already choosing Netflix. They love the service. We just got to get paid.
Just to get that money.
Got to get that greenback. So that was his first comment. Now we'll go to his second comment. He says, Hastings told investors on the earnings call. That's what he said on the earnings call. Now, Purple, if you were on that earnings call, would that first comment inspire confidence?
No, that sounds like somebody who's going to cut and run once they do get paid. This isn't a long-term viable plan that they've put in place. They just want as many people to sign up as quickly as possible.
Exactly. And more importantly, and I think you're going there, it's just that if that was the first comment out of the CEO's mouth on the earnings call, do you have a lot of faith, hope, and confidence that they've got a definitive strategy for the future to deal with this?
No, this seems like a very short-sighted view of something. This is somebody that clearly thought that they were almost untouchable with the business model that they had built. They thought that it was going to be rock solid, and clearly that isn't the case. Now, we've had people mention in the chat the film that shall not be mentioned, which I think did a heck of a lot of harm, even though Netflix will say that it wasn't the case. But would you say that this has been in kind of free fall ever since? The goodwill that people had towards this company, not just with showing that particular film and the way that it was marketed, but the quality of programming that they've been putting on the streaming network.
I think so, because I remember a time, and I'm going to get to the second part of his comment in a second, which I think is hilarious. But I was thinking about this myself, is that until I just got caught up on episodes, because I basically during tax season watched 5 seasons of The Last Viking, all on Netflix, and I did it all in like 45 days.
Mm-hmm.
It dawned on me this morning when I saw the stock drop. I used to watch Netflix all the time. Like, but not lately, but I mean years ago. And gradually, I didn't like the programming. The whole cutie papootie to tootie to doody doo thingy definitely turned me off. We'll call that the baby oranges show, right, or whatever.
Yes.
Cute code words, right.
Yes, because YouTube do not like us to talk about it.
No, we're going to use the baby orange show. So the baby orange show, that definitely turned me off. And it wasn't until someone said, hey, you really got to check this show out. I think you'll like it. And of course I liked it. I mean, it was a great show. But other than that, I hadn't turned that damn thing on in forever. And interestingly enough, I asked a couple of my family members who have user accounts on my master account. I'm like, do you use this? They're like, nah, you can cut off.
Well, that's one of the other things that I wanted to kind of talk to you about, because we have had the news that in several countries they're starting to remove the ability for people to password share. So there is a crackdown on this. Now, this hasn't been a mass rollout throughout the entire world thus far, but this is something that Netflix has said that they will continue. And with their subscribers in free fall at the moment, do you think that this is a terrible idea?
I do. I think one of the things that Netflix fueled its growth is that you did have, I mean, in my case, I have user ID for this is the way I had it. My Netflix had a user ID for my kid. It had a user ID for another relative, and et cetera, et cetera. And, it's almost like you're changing stuff. It's similar, these companies, instead of adding value, understanding the value proposition, it's like they're trying to find more ways to take money out of the pocket for somebody for something you already have. I mean, an example of this, and I know we're going to talk about Disney maybe a little bit later, but
Mhm.
in the case of Disneyland, I'll give you. I mean, I took several family members, like four, 5 people in my family, and then I paid for all of us to Lightning Lane the whole day because we would have had a miserable experience without it. If in terms of line waits and this and that, and
Yes, because they
and
used to do the fast pass system, didn't they?
yeah, now it's called Lightning Lane. But I mean,
Mhm.
way, way, way back when I was a little tiny, little Mexican little rabbit chicken, long before our little Mexican rabbit chicken grew into Mexican Ironman. Um, I would hear these parents talk about how there used to be e-tickets and A tickets for different
Yes.
rides, and that sort of figured things out for people in a lot of ways. And the tickets were 100 and some odd dollars per person, anyways, that day. But I easily spent almost $600 just lightning laning different rides for all 4 or 5 of us that day.
It is ridiculous. It is, and it does seem to be getting to the point. And we can obviously go into this more when we do talk Disney, but they are almost pricing out people who were their kind of bread and butter. It's only the very top tier, and we've seen it with the new, the Star Wars hotel, the ridiculous cost of that. They are pricing people out, and it's ridiculous. Just quickly, we've got a couple of super chats that have come in, so let me say a massive thank you firstly to Brandon, the anime guy. He says, Mexican Ironman, the hero we need but do not deserve. So many things, so much dumpster fire. Love you, bro, and love you, Purple. Be well.
Aw, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And we've also got a $10 super chat from Daniel. Thank you so much and good morning. He says, my view is that Netflix has grown too expensive with a poor product, crappy shows. How much Kool-Aid are my friends drinking to think that this is the time to buy because Netflix will, of course, rebound?
I don't know, Daniel. Maybe it'll rebound. I'm going through that assessment myself because I hold Netflix stock in complete disclosure. So it's been an interesting ride. I'll let you read Salty Texas Sea before because I have another point.
Absolutely. Big thank you to Salty. Great to see you. It says pronouns, ideology, and grooming don't sell. No way.
Exactly, Salty Texas Sea. And that brings us to this comment. He said this was the second comment on the investor call. And then two, it's really we got great competition. They've got some very good shows and films out, and what we got to do is take it up a notch. And I'll tell you that we're all pretty. I know it's disappointing for investors, and it is for sure. But eternally, we're really geared up, and this is like our moment to shine. This is when it all matters, and we're super focused on achieving those objectives and getting back into our investors' good graces. Yeah. Now I don't know what's worse, Purple. Let me ask you this. I want Purple Valkyrie to analyze this.
Okay.
Okay, we're gonna break this up. How do you read this? If you're on that investor call and you've got hundreds of millions of dollars of your clients' stock portfolio on the line, when you hear this guy, this CEO, talk this way.
Again, it doesn't sound like he's got that much faith in his own products. Like he says there, we've got really great competition. They've got some good shows and films out there. So right off the bat, he's saying, yes, there are many, many things that we are competing with. And to me, this seems to be almost with all these streaming services, we're going back to the way that we had with cable back in the day, when there were so many different cable companies all competing with one another. Whereas before we had Netflix, we had Amazon with their Prime, and then we started getting more and more of these streaming companies popping up.
I think if you're going to have an investor, what kind of a moron of a CEO says that their competition is doing great?
Yes, you want to downplay your competition, not kind of rise them above your own.
Like as all the trouble that Chapek's in, you're never going to hear him on an earnings call say, Universal really has some awesome new rides. I mean, who does that?
Yes, it's like, you know what? Yeah, Disney's good and all, but you should really check out the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. Yeah,
right, exactly.
It's insane. Yeah, they are coming at this so backwards at the moment. What I would have thought that they would have done, talking about their product, is completely ignore any competition, but focus entirely on the fantastic shows and films that they've got coming on their own streaming platform. Don't talk about anybody else.
Revenue, they reported revenue of 7.8 billion versus 795 million. They missed by 100 million.
Wow.
That's 30 million less a month. That's $1 million a day. So their revenue, their expected revenue of what they told the market they would do, they were off by $1 million a freaking day. That is unfucking believable. Right? Now, they had previously said to investors that they expected that their net subscribers would be 2.5 million. That means that, see, the way the market works and the way it works with these CEOs is that when they do an earnings call or they do their quarterly report, they say, well, here's where we're at. Here's what we did. It's like going back with your mommy and daddy on your report card. Okay, mom, dad. Okay, look, I know I only got a B- in math, and I only got a B in world history. But next quarter, I'm going to get an A and I'm going to do much better. Yeah. I'm going to do more better. Yeah. So the quarterly expectation was that these guys were going to do 2.5 million new subs. And instead, they did less than 200,000. That means they were off by 2.7 mil. Not only did they not get the 2.5 million new ones they thought they were going to get, they had a net loss of 200,000.
That is crazy. And this isn't something that has happened overnight. And you've talked about this in the past as well. This is something that, if you have been watching them, this is something that they could have predicted, quite far back. Now, whether they could have seen such a steep drop off so suddenly, I'm not sure. But
that is exactly the point, Purple. You just hit the nail on the head. And I hope everybody understands what you just said. I'll say it again in a different way. That right there is the most of what you just said is the point. Because if you're CEO of this company, Purple, you've known that you've been losing $1 million in revenue a day. You've known it for you've known it once a month or two goes, because the way these companies are assessed is they're assessed every 90 days, every quarter. It's a lot like a report card in school. You have your report card after the fall, you got your report card in winter. And if you're a Mexican Ironman in high school and you actually showed up to your classes and weren't like cutting classes, dropping out and hanging out at the Burger King or the local shopping mall, too much inside knowledge there. Yeah, you got your report card in the spring. And if you had to go to summer school like a bad little Mexican rabbit chicken, which Mexican Ironman sometimes did, you got a report card for what you did at summer detention school. So Netflix's drop in new users came as a surprise to Wall Street, with analysts looking for a slowdown, but still positive growth in subscriptions in the first 3 months of 2022. Subscribers grew. So the whole thing about this thing is that these guys, it's about managing expectation. It's kind of like this. Let's just say Purple and I were married. Just to say, for hypothetical.
Okay.
Okay. Do I tell you that I did not get all my tax returns done and we might be late with the mortgage, or do I wait till the house is got, there's a sticker on the door telling you that, hey, we didn't make the mortgage, we might get foreclosed on? When do you want the bad news?
You would want the bad news as soon as possible so you could hopefully try to mitigate it.
That's right. Otherwise, # divorce proceedings, right?
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. So anyways, you're right. I mean, your analysis is on point. It's exactly what you said, which is that you got to manage your expectations. These guys easily a month or two ago could have said things weren't on track, and now they're getting hammered for it. They're getting brutally hammered for it. And here's the thing. When you're one of the top 2 dogs, I got another chart. I'll bring up in a second. When you're one of the top 2 dogs, well, actually, the chart I was going to mention was the one you talked about last week, which was the one about the streaming services. When you're at the top of the hill and you're Amazon, Netflix, you got all these other little upstarts, it's easy to think you're doing, you're better than you actually are, right?
Absolutely. And just to kind of chime in with what you were saying, but the one that I've pulled up is actually from the BBC News. So we've gone pretty much over it, and they were saying, Netflix warned shareholders and over 2 million subscribers were likely to leave in the months to July. So this is still an ongoing thing. So it says our revenue growth has slowed considerably, the firm told shareholders on Tuesday after publishing its first quarter results. Relatively high household penetration, when including the large number of household sharing accounts, and that goes back to the password sharing that we were talking about, is creating a growth headwinds. So you would think that more people on these accounts would be a good thing, but they seem to be, this isn't the case for them. They want more people owning individual accounts. They don't want people to be able to have the ability to share it with family members. And does that come down to greed, or do you think that's just a really bad business model?
Well, let me ask you a question. How is Netflix perceived I find this article fascinating. I guess, does everybody have Netflix? How is Netflix? What is the relationship of Netflix versus the BBC licenses these days in the UK?
I would imagine, well, the BBC license has been on the slide for quite a few years now. People are very fed up with what the BBC has to offer, and the fact that you have to have a license to watch these shows. If you don't have a license, then they put kind of a lot of pressure on people. If you decide to cancel your license, you have to basically tell them and be quite firm with them why you no longer want their service. Now, it's not illegal to not have a TV license, but they will make it think that perhaps it's not a good idea. So it's kind of a very insidious way that they've done this, and I'm really glad that it's being phased out. But with Netflix was kind of like a breath of fresh air when it first came about, because it was a lot more convenient for people. People could, as I say, share the account, so it was a lot more cost effective, and it was a lot cheaper than the BBC license.
See, I think the ability to share and have different user profiles, regardless if they're in your house or not, I think it's incredibly stupid for two reasons. One is that it was one of the major things that I liked about Netflix early on, that you could have, that I could add Max, I could add this, I could that, I could have different people on this one account. And the other thing too that's so stupid is that I can't believe these guys are talking about households. Why are
Mm-hmm.
you talking about households? Because people are mobile nowadays. The vast majority of streaming happens on a phone or an iPad. You might be watching Netflix on a plane. You might be on a bullet train. You might be actually even having to play in your car. Maybe even. You're not supposed to watch stuff and drive.
Mm-hmm. But for the
Let's say I
kids,
went.
yep.
Let's say I went to Purple. I went to visit her in England, and we found ourselves at a charming bed and breakfast. I don't know how that might accidentally happen. And of course, I'm going to open up the iPad, and what does that have anything to do with whether or not it's my household or not?
Exactly, yes. And you bring up a really good point as well, being able to take it mobile. You got the kids in the back of the car, you want them to be entertained, you just give them the iPad and they can watch it. And that was the other thing that was the problem with the BBC TV license. If somebody, for example, was watching a show on their phone and walked into a shop, then the shop could actually be hit for not having a TV license. I know, because a place that I worked got sent a letter about that. It was absolutely insane.
That's crazy. So I don't know what the future will hold. I really don't. I just know that there's a different take, which is that Netflix, who's been increasingly regarded as wokey woke
Mm-hmm.
in a little bit, is there might be a general woke meltdown happening in media around the globe with all these companies.
Yes, there does seem to be that way. Not just because I think people are. I don't know whether it's right to say people are kind of waking up. People like us and people like Fantastic Chat have known for a very long time that there is definitely a underlying agenda with a lot of these streaming networks, with a lot of these shows. We've seen it kind of time and time again. But it seems that the more general population, I guess, would be the way to say it, seems to have kind of caught on as well, and there seems to be more and more pushback now against these sort of shows.
I think so. I think people are waking up. You take me. I guess I'm a perfect example of this. In the last, I guess, few months. Well, I didn't know that I mean, let me take a step back. So I cut off access for my kid to have access to Disney Plus,
Mm-hmm.
and his profile. I didn't realize he wasn't even using his kid's profile to watch cartoons on Netflix. So now I've just, I mean, I mean, I think parents are waking up left and right and starting to say, what? But I think before in the beginning it was like, okay, this is streaming, let's just go. But now I think people are being much more discerning, and these companies better wake the fuck up and realize what's going on. I mean, Disney just since March 8th in the last year. Here, I'll bring up that ticker symbol. Let me bring that up.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think
Please
you got
do.
another super chat. You want to hit that?
Yeah, I will grab that super chat. Absolutely. So we have got a $5 super chat from TZ Burton. Thank you, sweetheart. He says, I've been waiting for this interview with the beautiful Purple Valkyrie and the dashing Mexican Ironman. Thank you, TZ. Great to see you as always. Good
Thanks,
morning.
TZ. So kind. You have a very kind, gracious, and great heart and well spirited chat peeps in chat.
We do. We have an amazing community. So thank you guys. So this is the Disney stocks at the moment.
Yeah. So in the last 13 months, from March 8th, 2021, this stock was at 197. Right, 197. And since then, there's been some downs, up, down, down.
Oh dear.
Look at this roller coaster. Imagine being on this roller coaster. It's like you're at the top of the Matterhorn and you're like, whoa, whoa. Oh, we're going.
That screaming sound is Bob Chapek at the moment. Just
exactly. Where we're now at 126.14, right? 126.14. And so in the last year, let's get out the little handy dandy little calculator here because we got one here. So let's ignore the 5%, everybody, for a second. Just ignore that for a second. I'm going to punch in my calculator 126.02, and I'm going to divide that against literally a little more than a year ago, 197.16. And that stock has dropped 36.1% in a year.
That's incredible.
So that means 36%. If I divide that by 12, then that means on average in the last year, the stock has lost 3% of its value every month on average. And I don't think the bloodletting is done. I mean, we're not giving financial advice on this show, but I think we're a long way away from the bloodletting being over.
Yes, absolutely. And as Mexican Ironman says, this isn't about advice. This is just about kind of shining a light on what is happening at the moment. And hello to Terry Rose. This has $124.65. It's the 52-week low for Disney stock. Now, traditionally, I could be wrong, but please correct me if I am. Disney was always seen as a very safe investment for stocks, I would imagine.
Oh, yeah. The reason you bought Disney stock was very simple for many, many decades, which was that you bought this stock. I mean, here, let's take a look at the. I mean, it's, and I could go way back. Let's see what the max is. How far back will it go? All right, all the way back to 1985. Let's go back to 1985. And see, when you bought a stock, you bought it. You weren't going to really have any big mountains or valleys. You're going to get dividends. You were going to get earnings per share. And just look, if you buy an 85, see?
There was year-on-year growth. Yes, there was a few wobbles, but on the whole, it was a safe investment by the looks of it.
That's right. Where things got rocky and dicey was at the beginning of 2020, obviously. But, a lot of the speculative growth came with the rollout of, guess what? Disney Plus.
Yes. No, Disney Plus in the beginning, from what I can tell, was actually a really good idea and a really great for the company. Is that still the case at the moment?
I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, I don't think so. I mean, I think there's something even more weird and sinister about, which is that I want to put a video up on my YouTube and on Twitter, but I can't because I don't want to. I mean, my kid's a minor, and I don't want to, But he said the funniest thing on video, which is that when I visited him, I asked him, I said, hey, next time we come to Orlando, we got to hit the theme parks. And of course, this is before 10 days ago or 2 weeks ago when those weird videos came out. So this is
Yes.
about a month ago. And I said to him, I said, you know, do you want to go to Galactic Star Cruiser? Do you want to go to, you know, which parks you want? He's like, Dad, I don't want to go to Disney. I'm like, you don't? He's like, no, they got problems.
That
And I'm
is
like,
a smart kid.
I'll send you this video on Twitter so you can see, I'm not making this shit up. And I said, wait, what? He says, yeah, they've got some problems they need to fix. The kids, by the way, kids just turned 9. Okay. So he was 8. He was 8 when he said this. And so he just turned 9. And he said, I'm like, well, what are you talking about? And he hasn't seen any of my live streams or any of the stuff I do on Midnight's Edge.
Mm-hmm.
And he
Which,
says,
by
well,
the way, you guys are killing it.
Oh, thank you. He says, Dad, they've got some problems they need to fix. Until that, let's go to Universal. And I'm like, how do you know about this? He says, I do research. I'm like, where? He says, I read stuff. I'm like, where? He's like, online, once they fix their problems, Dad, then we can take a look at going to Disney. But yeah, Universal. Yeah.
Right there with him. That, as the chat is saying, that is a smart kid. And if it's bizarre if someone as young as him can see the issues that they're having, why cannot this behemoth of a company now the chat are talking about it, and I think we've talked about it in the past as well. Disney, for pretty much their entire run, was built on the foundation of being family friendly. It was somewhere where you could take your kids, where it was a safe environment where people could just get together and have a fantastic time and build memories. And as this article says, Disney, built on fairy tales and fantasy, confronts the real world. The entertainment behemoth spent decades avoiding the whiff of controversy, but it has increasingly been drawn into a partisan political fray. Now, we've seen this more than ever this year. Do you think that this is an absolutely terrible way for a company to be heading?
I do. I'll tell you this much. I'm pretty pissed off about them right now. I mean, when my kid told me that, I thought it was amusing. Then when I saw those videos that came out, I was just like effing pissed. And I don't know, you just said something really amazing, which is that how is it that my 8/9-year-old sees things and these execs don't? Isn't that baffling?
Yes. Do you think that this is just kind of willful ignorance? I don't believe for 1 minute, especially somebody who is, as has his finger on the pulse like Chapek and his predecessor, who was very well versed when it came to running Disney as a company, that they did not see the signs.
Well, that's kind of the problem, is that one of the things that when of course we've had Cameron Page on and other people, but one of the things that's happened is people have been saying, oh, well, we're going to Chapek's going to save us, this and that. And I said, hey, I'm all about Team Chapek. I'm all about the numbers guys putting this company back on track. But two things. One is that you don't want to let not all accountants don't have communication skills. One of the biggest problems that I've had in the accounting industry for the last couple of decades is that I just don't have very many friends in the accounting industry. I mean, accountants don't know how to manage politics. And here's the thing: when Chapek caved, I knew instantly why he did, because we're the kind of things like, if there's a problem, let's just make it go away. So he's like, okay, they're unhappy, so we'll throw them a bone. No, they come back for your fucking arm. Okay, give them an arm. Okay, go ahead and give them the forearm. Okay, oh, they're coming back. Okay, give them the whole arm and tell them we'll get back to them later. Mr. Chapek, sir. They just bit off our right nut and our right leg. What? What happened to my right nut and the right leg?
That wasn't part of the deal.
Yeah, sir, it's gone. And then the next thing you know, you get a freaking hostage video. You get a freaking hostage video. The camera goes on. The guy's like, in a bunker somewhere and shit. The guy's just like, it's awful.
Yes, and it looks like Chad agrees. Dave Bob says they need to clean house. Renzira says Bob Iger's strategy for running Disney was just buy everything. I think that was a big issue as well that
Well, this is a
Disney
good
had.
article. What does it say? Do you want to read some of it?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll go through a little bit more of this article. It's from the New York Times. So it says, since founding in 1923, Disney has stood alone in Hollywood in one fundamental way. It's family-friendly movies, TV shows, and theme park rides. At least in theory, they have always been aimed at everybody, with potential political and cultural pitfalls zealously avoided. I would say for the vast, majority that Disney has been around, that is true. But as we have seen in the past, I would say, really 18 months, it seems to have really ramped up. That is not the case anymore. It goes on to say the Disney brand is about wishing on stars and finding true love and living happily ever after. In the case, the fairy tale castles are too subtle. Disney theme parks outright promise an escape from reality with welcome signs that read, "Here you leave today and enter the world of yesterday, tomorrow, and fantasy." However, lately the real world ugliness has been creeping into the Magic Kingdom. With this hyper partisan moment, both sides of the political divide have been banging on Disney, endangering one of the world's best known brands, one that for many symbolizes America itself as it tries to navigate a rapidly changing entertainment industry. In some cases, Disney has willingly waded into cultural issues last summer to applause from progressives and snarls from the far right. Disney decided to make loudspeaker announcements at its parks, gender neutral. At its theme parks, gender neutral, removing ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, in favour of dreamers of all ages. Just to pick up on that, do you think that that was a kind of very weak thing to do? I never thought that, the whole ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls announcement was really anything. It was just an announcement.
So you didn't think it was a big deal that they got rid of that?
Oh, I think it's a big deal that they got rid of it. I didn't think it was a big deal that they had it in the first place.
Yeah, I think that's more. The fact. I agree with you I agree with you 100%. In fact, I have nothing other to say. But getting rid of it did piss me the fuck off. Oh, the frack off. Sorry.
Oh no, you can swear. It's fine.
Okay.
Honestly.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it goes on to say, but the entertainment giant has also found itself dragged into the fray with the recent imbroglio over a new Florida law that, among many things, restricts classroom instruction through third grade on sexual orientation and gender identity, and has been labelled by opponents as "don't say gay." Now, this is the big one that has really kind of divided people over Disney, and we've seen protests and boycotts in Disney in outside the HQ in California, but now from what I am reading, we're starting to see it in Florida also. And this doesn't seem to be going away, and this is absolutely terrible for Disney to have people outside their gates with placards chanting to boycott them. Do you think, or could you have ever imagined, as somebody who has been to Disney, has been to the parks, that this would ever be something that we would have seen?
I don't. I don't. It just is absolutely baffling and fascinating to me. And the thing is that there's more people. The thing about these woke ass weirdo advocates is that they have nothing better to do. There's a very few of them, and they scream loudly. And the vast majority of people like me, people like you, people like us, people around the world, is that we're so busy working and surviving and trying to thrive that, and most of us are live and let live type of people. So, we really, we're not the type to protest. When things get to the point where people like us are starting to protest and get pissed off, now you're an idiot. Now you're a moron as an executive, and now you're out of your freaking mind, and it's going to cost you. It's going to cost you big.
Absolutely. And let me say hi to Philip K. Demick. Good to see you. Says Mexican Ironman. What you're missing is cooperative execs have a digitized scapegoat for when things go wrong.
Yeah, I think he's right.
I agree with that. And Shieldwater Dragon says many of the people protesting are straight up communists, but not the old school ones. They pay me ridiculous amounts of money for literally doing nothing kind, like universal income and free everything.
Yeah, he's right. What people forget about, what people don't talk about is Marx was a lazy piece of shit. He was a horrible father. He was a shitty husband. He was a alcoholic and a user. And he was a lazy piece of sack of shit. And that's the vast majority of this. And in general, that culture and that way of thinking is very appealing to lazy ass minority folk. And I'm a minority folk, so I'm going to say it because it used to be me. When I grew up dirt broke poor, shitty ass poor, in the shittiest worst area of the city that I lived in. And when someone brings these ideas to you that somehow you are disadvantaged or whatever the fuck, and that there's an easier way and the government's supposed to step in, it all can be very appealing, but that's not human nature. Human nature is we're supposed to fight, we're supposed to thrive, we're supposed to take care of ourselves, we're supposed to take care of our loved ones. And when we take care of our loved ones, we can take care of the people next to us, whether it's a teepee, whether it's a Viking barn, whether it's an English countryside farm, whether it's any neighbor, anytime in the last several hundred or thousands of years. We're supposed to take care of each other, but we got to take care of ourselves first. And that's what these leftist weirdos don't seem to understand.
Yes, I couldn't agree more. And, there is no better country that exemplifies this idea than America. You have the American dream for a reason. You have people coming to this country with basically nothing, and it proves that you can be absolutely anybody you want with hard work and dedication. And I absolutely love that. That is one of my favorite things about your country. Anybody, if they put their mind to it, can be anything, can achieve anything.
Exactly.
Let me just say good morning and a very warm welcome. Great to see you, Cardinal Sin. Hello, sweetheart. He says, hail Mexican Ironman, Purple Valkyrie, mods and chat. Good morning, rise and shine. Good morning. Great to see you as always. And congratulations for the channel. You are doing incredibly well as well.
Hail Cardinal Sin.
Hail Cardinal Sin. Absolutely.
I don't know if I want to actually get up. I kind of like being nestled here with you in the morning.
It's kind of comfy, isn't it?
Exactly. I like, okay,
nice.
Okay, you go on your left shoulder. We're going to spoon this way now. Okay, now right shoulder. Let's spoon. Let's internet, YouTube, live show stream, spoon to the right. Now to the left. Okay, roll over. Okay.
Oh.
How do I come up with this shit? Like, you inspire me.
It sounds like I inspire something, indeed.
Oh, ba-boom, bam.
There we go. Let me just say hello to Elton Necron. Great to see you. Says, we spend the money, we just want a fun time.
Right.
Fundamentally, that is the issue with a lot of people. The whole point of Disney, and it's this escapism. It is the idea that they sold people that it is the happiest place on earth. It is a place where it is safe to take your kids, where you can build fantastic memories with them. I remember going when I was very young. I've been lucky enough to visit several times Florida. I've never been to California, but each time just the dedication of the cast members, and I'm not talking the high ups, the executives, but the people that work in the shops, that man the rides, that that go out of their way to provide a good time for people. That is what I remember most fondly.
Yep, I agree completely. Yep.
Let me ask you, since we are talking, and we'll get rid of shops to stop sharing that, where do you think that Disney will go from here? Do you think that it is possible for them to eventually win back the goodwill of the people, or do you think that they are so far gone with diving into politics and to talking and taking a stance, especially in Florida with this particular bill that has gone through that nobody seems to have actually read, but it has spread like wildfire. Do you think that this was an incredibly bad decision that they took?
There are many bad decisions here. And the thing is that we now have three battles raging out of control at the same time. At the beginning, there was the Chapek battle, whereas maybe he needed to wrestle control. He battled his way to become CEO because he was not the choice of the woke. He also wasn't the choice of people that appreciate the parks, which is why people call him cheap check or cheap steak or whatever the hell his name is, right? And if you go to Disney, you haven't been in a while, but I'm going to tell you, someone who was just recently there, it's better than it was, but I think it was at its lowest right around 2018 or 19. Whenever I went for Doomcock and they did the video for Doomcock on Galaxy's Edge,
I
whatever,
remember that.
whatever
Yes.
summer that was the worst condition I'd ever seen in the parks of the multiple times I'd gone. So we had 3 battles. Battle number 1, the Chapek battle. Well, in addition to that, there's the battle inside with the staff, the woke staff versus the anti-woke staff. And by the way, I've also heard rumblings from people that work there that there's also rivalries between the Florida staff and the California staff.
Really? So there's
Yeah.
even a divide between the 2 parks.
Yeah, exactly. Divide between the parks, divide between the people in the management structures. It's not one all. It's not. So you have that battle raging inside, and within that you have the woke battles. It's not just woke versus anti-woke. There's also competing rivalries by the Floridian employees and the California employees. And then the third battle we now have is that we've got a battle between customers of Disney, people like me, and the very brand in of itself. The brand is now battling with the people that have always supported the brand. For example, in my family, until recently, we had 7 annual passes. We now have 4. I don't have one, but my sister and 3 of my relatives do have 4 annual passes. Okay, that's down. And my family is a huge Disney family who spent tons of money going to theme parks, literally 5, 6, 7 times, and spending $200 to $500 per person every time. And me with Disney Plus and yada yada yada. The line goes on. But we as a family now feel that we are at battle. We're either at battle with the brand or we're now becoming ambivalent or hostile to the brand. These are 3 different wars that are being fought. Disney is raging out of control. I'm going to borrow a scene from to me, when watching the Last Kingdom TV show was funny because in many ways Disney as a city is burning like many of those villages that are pilfered. They're under attack from within and from without, from outside and from within. And unless they get their shit together, this thing is in trouble. The thing is, though, is that it's going to take a while because this company brings in hundreds of millions of dollars between this. This is a cash cow in terms of the theme parks and the cruise ships and its hospitality management. And it's got a lot of, on top of that, you've got the ESG funding. So that's going to prop up this battle for a while. Like, it's a lot like a castle that's under siege. Imagine that this is a fortress, like almost like, and it's being attacked. But how much water do they have? How much supplies do they have? How many weapons do they have? So it's going to take a while, but this castle is under siege. We just don't know whether this castle will fall or not. But if they don't start making better decisions, they will fall because they've got dissent from within and from outside.
Yes, and I didn't realize there was so much friction going on between the 2 parks as well. That's incredible. Now I knew that there was problems within, especially the Florida park, because of the way that this has been kind of whipped up. But that's fascinating.
Well, the reason I found out about it recently is I can't name my sources, but I have people that work in Florida that I know. And the thing is that now imagine you're a Florida. That's the last point I'll bring up because I know we're ending the show. But imagine you're a Florida employee. And now, let's say you've been there 10, 20, 30 years, right? And let's say it's you, Purple. Let's say you got 2 kids to take care of and you're a working hard single mom, whatever, an mid-level exec there or whatever, okay? And you've been there. Well, now you see the Florida legislature is about to strip, potentially, the tax-exempt status of Disney. That's chaos. Now you're hearing rumors that, you got some people say, well, we should just move all of our jobs to California or we should go to New York or whatever the hell. How are you going to feel knowing that this is that California woke assholes are doing this? And meanwhile, you have been faithfully and duly, because Disney World is 10 times, if not larger, the size of Disneyland.
It is, yeah. Disney World obviously had the vast land that they could build on.
That's where the employees are there. That's where most of the money is made. The cruise ships and the ports are in Florida. They're not, they make more money on cruise ships, hospitality, hotel management, and the theme parks out of Florida than they do. And you're these California wankers. So how would you feel as a Florida employee, as a loyal Florida Disney employee, now hearing that these California wokey assholes have started this fire, and now you're hearing that exempt status might be taken away, and that puts your job and your life at risk. How would you feel?
I would be incredibly bitter about it. I would say that California and the Californians need to mind their own business and sort out their own mess instead of interfering with other states and other the way that theme parks are run on the opposite side of the country. To me, it is crazy that they think that they have the right to try and influence this.
Yep.
Oops, sorry, sweetheart. And just in the chat, Leah Rose is completely agreeing with you. She says, I personally have family who work at Disney Florida. Mexican Ironman is so correct. Absolutely.
Oh, thank you.
And let me just say a massive thank you to Cardinal Sin. He sends us $10. Thank you, honey. He says, great. Thanks for the great stream. Well, thank you. Thank you so very much as well. Good to see you. And he also sent one that a little bit earlier. Says, he said, oh, I got the super chat. That's it. That's the one that I got. Thank you. Thank you so much, Cardinal Sin. Really appreciate that. Great to see you. Just to kind of, in closing, do you think that you will be willing to spend money on Disney still? Do you think that you will go back to the parks? For me, I would have loved to have gone back, as especially to take my family. My mum was a huge fan, but they've cut so many things that were advantageous to people from outside of the US. Things like transportation from the airport to the hotels has been cut. They're cutting down on the fast passes. They've changed that now. All these little things that made a huge difference money wise has been kind of trimmed. So it's almost, as we were saying to begin with, they are starting to price people out.
I don't like what they're doing. I don't know what's going to happen, but when the next time I'm on the show, this is going to be a real life discussion, because here's the deal. I'm supposed to go to Star Wars Celebration at the end of May, and and I've been talking to my sister. Thinks that when we talked in January, I told her when I came back in May, I was going to take them all back since they have annual passes. Taking them means I'm paying for the parking, the food, because they already have 4 annual passes, right? I don't want to go, and the thing about what they're doing financially doesn't really affect me. I make a lot of money. I work hard and I make a lot of money. So I can, I probably spent $400 or $500 on lightning lanes just one day for us to go on all the rides. I had a great experience when I went, but I paid for it. But let me tell you this, I was effing fucking pissed that I had to do that, because even though I might have that kind of money, I did not expect that when I showed up, when I looked at the wait line hold times, which are on that stupid ass freaking app that they have, I had no farging idea that I had no frigging idea that the wait time, like we mapped it out. I basically said, wait, here's the this is what I said. We started the day, 8:39 in the morning. We're getting on the fucking bus, right? And I paid for the VIP parking to park all the way in the fucking front, right? So you still got to take a bus. And I said, here's the 5 things I want to do today. Rise of the Resistance, Pirates of the Caribbean. I had a list of 5 things. The Indiana Jones, right? Blah, blah, blah. I had 5 things I want to do. Here's my 3 option ones. When she mapped it out, based upon wait times, we were not getting out of there till midnight, and we probably were only doing 3 of those 5 things.
That's terrible.
And I said, and she had a whole zigzag of like, we got to go, okay, we're going to do Rise of the We're going to go Galaxy's Edge here, then we're going to walk all the way across the park and go there, then we got to come back. I'm like, wait a minute, hold on here. I mean, Mexican Ironman could lose a few pounds, but I'm not here for a fucking workout.
Yes.
I didn't come to
realize
Disneyland.
How much walking you do?
I didn't come to Disneyland to go on a 5 to 7 mile hike. I came for my turkey leg. I came for my rides, and I already paid for the ticket. What is the problem? And so we mapped out. I said, okay. So I told her this. I said, go log onto the app. I said, here's my credit card. Put in, what if we lightning laned everything today? And she punched it all in, and we calculated that we would get all of the rides we wanted done in 5 hours. All 8 of them. In 5.5 hours, I think it was. Right? So I said, fuck it, let's do it. And we did it. And then we had the rest of the time to enjoy, walk around, see little fucking parades, doobie-doobie-da.
And actually have fun as a family.
Yeah, I tried to have fun as a family. I tried hitting on some of the, Purple. I tried hitting on some of the princesses of the parade. Well, you
Mexican
weren't there.
Ironman.
What am I gonna do? I mean, come on. Snow White walks by. The Little Mermaid comes. What am I gonna do? Come on.
So, have I got to dress up as Ariel to entice your eye back? Is that what you're saying?
Oh yeah, yeah. My eyes are gonna be focused, laser focused.
But I can absolutely see what you mean, and I know we've got to close up in just a moment, but you shouldn't have to, pay more to get, a great day out, and that is the fundamental issue that most people are having now. To be paying, out of pocket to just to have some time with your family is just incredible.
So I'm pretty pissed about it, and so I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm just pissed. My kid doesn't want to go. I don't feel like I want to go. I may give my sister money, and if she still wants to go and support Disney, I may just do that. I may just give her a couple $100 and say, "Hey, you go," because I feel dirty. I feel it feels ugly to go there. I don't know if I can walk. I don't know if I can walk through those gates and hear them not say, "Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls," because now it's going to stand out to me. I mean,
Hmm.
just the thought of walking in there is just sitting here on this live stream with you grosses me out and makes me sick. And I've
Hmm.
never had that feeling about Disney. I could never say before in my life that until this day, this year, 2022, that thoughts about Disney make me nauseous and sick, but they do.
And that is just an absolutely terrible way for a company and for them to go down. But they did it to themselves. There was nobody else to blame. And if more and more people feel the way that we feel and the way that the chat is talking at the moment, I can fully see them, falling down. And we know how hard that the parks were hit during 2020. Uh, I can see numbers falling back down to that again.
Yeah.
But we always have Universal, so fingers crossed that Universal are keeping a very close eye on what is happening to their rivals at the moment and don't decide to do anything silly in the meantime. But yeah, it is heartbreaking because, as I said, I really did enjoy going to the parks. Um, Putting the company aside and whether or not you believe that they're going in the right direction, it was always a fun time to be there.
Yep.
Very sad. Right, just before we let people get on with the rest of their Wednesday, what have you got coming up, Mexican Ironman? Because I know you are incredibly
Well,
busy
we
at the moment.
well, we're going to Midnight's Edge in the morning starts in about 5 to 10 minutes. I'll be
Yep.
backstage there. I don't know if I'm going to go on the panel, but we got that coming up. Going to talk some more Ezra Miller. Boy, is that an interesting development yesterday.
Oh, yes, he just can't help himself, can he?
No, it's kind of like me when I'm around you. I just can't help myself. I
That
did
was
another.
smooth.
I did
That was
another
very
funny. Did
smooth.
you, did you see that purple? I did another funny.
There you
And
go.
as Andre would say, and with that,
And with that, indeed, see you guys. I couldn't have asked for a better co-host today. It was always an absolute pleasure to get to talk to Mexican Ironman. It has been too long, and this has been a fantastic show. So thank you so much.
thank you for having me. I've loved it. Thank you, chat. You have a wonderful group of people in chat. Thank you all so much. I was reading all the comments as they went by. Intelligent, thought-provoking, and amazing. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. We've got a fantastic chat, a fantastic community. Cardinal Sin says, Mexican Ironman, we have Into the Fringe tonight as well. That's a great show that you guys are doing. So, guys, please, if you would be so kind, go raid Midnight's Edge. Check out their content because they do a fantastic coverage, and they will be covering Ezra Miller and his continual fall from grace, which is really incredible. A massive thank you to everybody who was here today, to everybody who sent super chats and messages. I really, really appreciate it. You guys are incredible. Later on this evening, I'm going to put in the chat. We've got on Salty Texas's channel. We've got a show as well. We've got the Woo Woo show. So really looking forward to that. Lots and lots of content coming. We've got the show coming up on Friday, and we've got a show tomorrow with Still Abdul, and we've got the next review of Moon Knight. So guys, lots of great content coming. A massive thank you once more to Mexican Ironman. And guys, I would say have a brilliant rest of your day, and we will see each other again very soon.
Bye.